Perfect.
Would you like to support the Insiders? Pick up some merch now. Support us by getting a shirt, a hoodie, support Abby's window, get a Shenanigans shirt, whatever you'd like. Pick up some merch now. Insiders Pro Wrestling. The link is at the end of the video.
Father's Day, everyone. All of you out there, obviously, who are dads. Happy Father's Day to all of you. Hope you got to spend some time with your kids or with your fathers, obviously, if they are with you. And obviously, Happy Father's Day also to all of those who have their dads have passed on, because obviously they are always in our thoughts. So that's the first thing I wanted to say. It's Sunday, and we are back for an episode of Between the Ropes. This is the usual Between the Ropes episode, so we had a couple different things that we did the last couple times. And Jeff, no better day, I guess, to be here than Father's Day. What's good, we often, a lot of us are lucky enough to still have our dads. Mine passed away a couple of years ago. Jeff, I know your dad's been gone for a bit, but the whole point of this day really is to look back and to, remember fondly, of course, of our dads, what they did for us. And then obviously, us as fathers too, making new memories with our kids, which Jeff had to, did this weekend. I had some dinner with my youngest, bought me dinner tonight. So that was cool. I think back, and one of the earliest memories I have of my dad, I can remember him taking me to see Star Wars. I was about 7 years old when that came out, 7 or 8 years old. And I can remember my dad was no way a sci-fi fan. My dad liked the sports. He liked, he watched the Army movies, the Westerns, those. That's what they liked, right? But I saw that commercial for it, the trailer, and I begged him to take me, and he did. And he and I were in the theater, and I would look next to him and I could see him, and he's dozing off. He's falling asleep in the chair. But I'll always remember that he bought me a program for the film that I still have to this day. And it's awesome. When you go to movies back in the day, they used to have movie programs, almost like Broadway shows. And you could buy one of these up at the counter where they sold the snacks and everything like that. And he bought me one. And then of course, when we left the theater, he had to go pick up some tools. And he took me to a local store, the department store that we had around here. The name was Cook's. So he took me to the store. And I can remember walking in the doors and opening the doors, and like any 7-year-old kid would, you walk in, and the first thing you see, they merchandise Star Wars very well, by the way. First thing you see is this big display of the Star Wars action figures right as you walk through the door. And I just remember my dad looking at me, and he goes, "You get 2. That's it, 2." So I'm looking at this whole big display, and I'm thrilled that he said I could get 2. And back then, action figures were like $2. But when you remember, minimum wage was $3.35. $4 is a lot. That's 1 hour's wages. So, but I remember looking at them all, and I'm like, well, I have to pick Luke and Darth Vader, right? So that they were the first 2. And but fond memories, of course, of our dads. Jeff, obviously, I'm sure you've got one as well.
Yeah, I mean, just thinking about my dad, and I mean, he was a military man. He was in the Army, was in Vietnam. But yeah, my dad, when it came to baseball, was just a huge baseball fan. Played baseball in high school, and had he not been drafted, probably would have ended up playing professionally at some point.
Wow. Okay.
But yeah, just seeing him with baseball. I remember the first time we went out, and he was teaching me how to play baseball, and I hit the ball like right back at him. I mean, just right back at him. And he's like, "Oh, so you're trying to get back at me, huh?"
Mm-hmm.
So, and he just caught it, and it was kind of a nonchalant thing. And it's funny because you think about that, and you think about your dad as being like this superhero and invincible and all of that stuff. So, yeah, he caught it. I mean, he should have just caught it behind his back. Honestly,
yeah, right.
That's how disrespectful it was. But yeah, I just remember learning how to play ball, and when I got to a point where I was just really just tagging the ball and knocking it a long way, he was like, "Okay, yeah, we're done with that. We're not."
Sports and our dads are a big thing. Jeff and I aren't that far apart in age, so they all loved it. I can remember we used to play street football. Of all things, we're playing football out on the asphalt, and yeah, it was tagged most of the time, but still, you get in brush ups because you'd knock each other over and stuff like that. And I can remember we're out there playing, me, my cousin, my couple of friends, and all of a sudden, here come the dads, right? So my dad, my cousin's dad, all 4 of them come over, and they're like, "All right, let's go. We're going 4-on-4." And I'm like, "Oh my god!" Right? So there's my father playing with a lit cigarette in his mouth, running up and down the street, playing football with it. So I'm trying to catch it. They threw him a football, and the football literally hit him right in the cigarette. Boof! The cigarette explodes all over his face. I'm like, oh my god. But yeah, it's so many good memories. And they were hard workers, and I'm sure your dad was too.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
My father worked like 3 jobs. Wasn't home very much. He was a military guy too. But yeah, it's just these kind of days are wonderful days to look back, and you can put it to wrestling too. My dad took me to see my first wrestling shows that I ever went to see live. That's the one I talk about a lot, where I met Andre the Giant. And they were always up for that. And even though, again, he really didn't watch much TV because working hard and doing that kind of stuff. So when he did, he'd come home and he'd watch it, pass out on the couch, and that was it. He'd fall asleep for the night. But you remember these great things, and that's really what Mother's and Father's Day is all about.
Yeah,
So,
I agree.
And then we pass it on to the kids. So yeah, happy Father's Day to all of you guys, and I hope you got to visit with your dads today, or if your dads, of course, are still around, or still with us, and otherwise, some people just have a father figure maybe in their lives. I know my grandfather was a big part of my life too. My grandfather on my mother's side, when my dad and mom would work, I spent a lot of time with my grandparents when I was growing up too. So sometimes it's that. Maybe sometimes it's an uncle or even an older brother if your dad hadn't been around. So yeah, big day, and we're glad we could be here for this.
Yep.
So, couple of little quick things and we'll get started because we do have a lot to talk about. We missed this show the last few times. We were doing other things. So we have a lot of things to cover, especially this will be obviously about the wrestling, the new stuff that happened over the course of this past week and the news that's out there. So first off, schedule. We have tomorrow is Monday. Is Abby's tomorrow?
Probably going to do it on Wednesday.
Okay.
I think Jody has to work. So
okay. Yeah, Jody's got her work schedule changed up a little bit. So Abby's this week then will be on Wednesday at 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So make sure you join us for that. Some news there. We had that. Oh man, I forget the dude's name now. Raslin something. I can't remember. Anyway, the guy posted the Bray promo with the White Rabbit thing where the rabbit fell in the hole and the fire came out of nowhere. He kind of just posted that the other day. So Spider, is it Spider Raslin? I don't remember. But anyway, he posted that. It made all of the geek sites or the wrestling sites, all of them. They all wrote down that he posted. This guy gets things right. So I don't know if that's a sign. I don't know, but they'll talk about that on Wednesday. Of course, Thursday's Impact Wrestling. Join us for that. 7:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Impact. We can't tell you enough about that show. They've been killing it lately. Every single week, it just gets better and better and better and better. If you're not watching Impact, you really should. Give it a chance if you haven't watched it in a while and come out and watch along with us because it's been tremendous, tremendous. And they're going towards Slammiversary, one of their biggest pay-per-views of the year. And then Saturday, little something new. Going to try it out. Obviously, Collision was last night, AEW Collision. I don't know how many of you watched it. I did, of course. We're going to have that as a watch along on our channel. Now, Jeff a lot of times has his kids on weekends, so most of the time it will be me. Jeff will join when he, if he has time or when he can, obviously. But, he does spend weekends with his children. So if not, it'll just be me. So this coming Saturday, make sure to come out. We'll start at 7:45 as we normally do with all the other shows. If you were an AEW fan, come and check it out, and we'll watch along Collision together. And we'll talk a little bit about that during the news. So that's what we've got coming up. Of course, pay-per-views and things coming up too. WWE Money in the Bank is looking really good. We won't be able though to do that show. It's on at a weird time. It's on at like 2-3 in the afternoon. We won't be there for that. I'm not sure if Tazzy will have it or not. It's probably going to depend on whether or not he's got baseball. So we will not, though, have it, unfortunately, on our channel because those ones they do overseas, we can't. All right, that's our schedule for the week. We'll welcome some people in and we'll get rolling. We've got Greg Felty is here. Hello, Greg. Hey, Deanna. Hey, Derek. Hello. Dylan is here. Christopher is here. Hope you guys are doing great. You as well. We've got James Grant says Happy Father's Day to all dads here. We got Happy Father's Day to every father in this world, says Christopher. Anthony Slate, member of our channel. Hello, Anthony, and welcome. We got the soundboard back. So there you go. We got our sounds back. But thanks for being a member of the channel, Anthony.
I couldn't wait either because here you go right here.
Uh-oh.
Can you dig it, sucker?
Love it. Little Booker T. I love it. I dig it. I do dig it. There you go. Sounds good, man. It sounds good. Sounds really good. So the sound effects are back. Happy Father's Day to all my fellow dads out there, says Bonus Baby, and to you. Marvin is here. Hey, Marvin, how are you? Anthony says, let's get this party started. Brandon, happy Father's Day to all fathers across America. Christopher, hey, Joe, Jeff, hope you guys are doing great. We have David Paul. Happy Father's Day to the moms who take on the father role. Yeah, good point. Yeah, great point. Sometimes moms do both. Yes. Sean Rousset says, happy Father's Day. Bonus Baby, before you get into wrestling stuff, who were your Hollywood childhood crushes? Wow, that's out of nowhere.
That is.
I'll give you a quick one, and mine it's attributed to Star Wars, and it's Carrie Fisher. Carrie was, like I said, I saw the movie in 1977. I was kind of young for a crush then, but I will fast forward to Return of the Jedi. When I was right about that prime age of, in 1983, I was 14. 14. You guys all know what is being 14. So when Princess Leia was in that slave outfit chained to Jabba the Hutt, yeah. So needless to say, yes, Carrie Fisher was one of my childhood crushes. What about you, Jeff?
I'll keep the list very, very short. Vanessa Williams.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Vanessa Williams.
Very, very pretty. Yeah, very beautiful woman. Absolutely. Well, there you go. That was off the cuff, but okay. Mick is here. John Kessler is here. Hey, John. Lucas is here. Hey, Lucas. John G is here. My dad took us to wrestling, said Deanna. Mark is here. A better way to celebrate Father's Day with all of my family and fathers of the families at our family reunion. That's awesome. Good for you. Hope you had a good time. These stories about you guys hanging out with your dads is awesome. Thank you very much. Happy 77th birthday wishes to Bruiser Brody, says David Paul. Father figure. Great George Michael song. Yeah, that was a good George Michael song. Yeah, nice 80s reference. Hey, Alicia. Hey, Jeff, Joe, and the Insiders family. Happy Father's Day to ones and here and no longer. Jason Stoffer, a member of our channel. Thank you very much, Jason, for being a member. And thank you for joining us. He says, Kenny King wrestled Effie last night in GCW. Very cool. I like Effie. That's awesome. That probably was a very good match. What did you think of Collision? We'll get to that. We will get to that as part of our news. So
okay.
Good segue. Barry Monkey from Twitch is here. We have Soundboard. Alicia says, yes. Main event for GCW last night was Nick Gage versus Zack Sabre Jr. Yep, that's right. GCW had a show last night. Yep. Hey, John G, Deanna, Bonkers. Did I miss anyone? Gust. Hey, Joe and Jeff, I'm just stopping in. Happy Father's Day, guys. Thank you, Gus, for stopping.
Thank you, Gus.
I did, Joe and Jeff. I spent with my father, me and my sister, and my brothers, and my father's daughter and son. Very cool. Very cool. Awesome. All right. So there you go. I think that's roughly it. One thing I will make note of, if you come out to watch Collision with me on Saturdays or with us on Saturdays, make sure that and I'll let you know, of course, we're good friends with Conrad and Everything Pro Wrestling. Conrad does show reviews. He did one last night. He says he doesn't know whether he'll be able to do them every week on Saturday for Collision, but if he does, we will let you know. And it's a good follow-up. When you're done on our show, you can go over to Conrad's channel for the follow-up and review. Obviously, if you're AEW fans, good place to go. So make sure you check out Conrad's channel. Okay, Jeff, should we get into it? I guess we better get into the news, man.
Yeah, let's do it. I don't know if you have anything breaking.
I think the only thing I saw that was breaking news was there is rumblings and rumors about the House of Mouse may be interested in buying or possibly maybe the television rights. I'm not real sure. It's kind of vague for WWE. It's been in the news now the past couple of days. And they, listen, you're going to hear tons and tons of rumors swirl around about where this is going to go, where these TV rights are going to go. Now, we know they're being bought out by, the company that owns USC. We get that, but the TV rights are still up for grabs. And that's what Vince is negotiating now. So he's being a big part of that. So the TV rights are still up for grabs. Disney basically, I guess, has thrown their hat in the game. Little kind of surprising because they haven't been doing all that well. They had to cut some of their programming, and they're not making as many. I know they cut back on making like the Marvel movies and stuff now every year. They're not going to do as much. So I don't know if maybe this could be something because of the writer strike. Also, writer strikes are causing a lot of this stuff to be pushed back in Hollywood. They're picketing and they're stopping productions on things because of it. So maybe because of that, they now have, I don't know, they might have the extra money now to maybe not use on these shows to put their name in for WWE. So yeah, that was really the only thing I heard. I don't know, Jeff, if that's going to be a good or bad thing. I don't like to get into the business part of it because, you never know. I mean, if Disney bought it, they own so many things. First of all, they own Fox. So if they own it, it's not moving from Fox off of Friday nights. Because Disney still owns that. They own ESPN. They own ABC Network. So the only thing I would think that would change would be USA. That Raw probably would not be on USA anymore. Is the only thing I think would change if that would happen. So not a huge difference, but like I said, Jeff, we're going to see a ton of this over the next probably 3 or 4 months.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a lot of speculation, a lot of rumors and conspiracy theories and all of that stuff. I mean, I've even seen things about programming ending up on Amazon Prime and in other places. So I mean, we'll see what happens. If they don't end up staying on USA or Fox, it'll be a little bit of a shock to the system, but I think people will eventually migrate to where the programming is if you're gonna continue to follow it.
Yeah, listen, I've done this with shows that I like, right? You bounce around to different channels. I mean, the suckiest part about it is if people don't get the channel or they have to pay for it. That's what kind of where it would affect you. But like even if Disney decided to put some things on the Disney Channel, not the channel, but the Disney Plus network or something along that nature. But I don't know that they do that anyway. So I don't think much would change. I don't think it's that big of a deal. But again, we're not going to know where this is going to go until we get some finalization. And that may not happen until August or September, late summer, early fall. So they definitely are making, he's making pitches to all these different places, listening to offers and things. So I'm sure we'll find out where it's going to go. But so, and then the other thing, of course, that's out there, and this is another thing that gets blown out of proportion too, is the whole thing with Vince being back. I think we all just have to face the facts. He's back. So in one way, shape, or form, whether he's going to make changes to his show from his office in Hartford, or whether he's going to make changes to his show when he's at the show itself, it does seem like he's got his hands back in the game. He's not always at the live events. They made a big deal about it when he was at the one that was in Hartford, but I mean, that's right where the office is. Of course, he's going to be there. But look, take from it what you will. I don't think we've really seen that big of a difference on the shows. I know whenever there's a bad show, people blame it. Oh, it's Vince. When there's a good show, they don't give him any credits. So it is what it is. I think we're seeing some amazing storyline telling with, of course, the thing with the Bloodline now coming to a head, which we'll talk about. But again, something really not in our control in any way at all. People take the opportunity to bitch about it and complain about it on the internet, which that's what they do. But, listen, it is what it is. And he's there. And yes, he does make some changes to the shows. What are you going to do? Again, it's a behind-the-scenes thing, Jeff, that it's out of our control.
Yeah, and I'm going to say this too, maybe an unpopular opinion, but I've never really been one to be popular anyway. If you're going to not watch it because of Vince, you're going to not watch it because of Vince. Right. And okay, and I mean, we don't necessarily need your commentary on social media as to why, because we all know that Vince is a disgusting person. Like, right. I mean, right. Let's just be honest. I watch it for the wrestlers that I enjoy. I really don't care who's booking the show. I can deal without Vince. I don't want Vince anywhere near it, but it seems like he's just going to be around until he's no longer around. And that's just the bottom line of it.
Yeah. Yep.
So until that time comes, I will continue to watch for the people that I watch for, be invested in the storylines that I enjoy, and the ones that I don't, I just don't. And I don't have to go online and hate post or hate watch a show just because I want to be relevant on the internet. So
totally agree. Yeah, it's one of those silly things. It's just out of our control. It gets blown up. You're either gonna like a show or you're not. I don't know. I mean, it's almost like, man, it's almost like with there's some of the shows that I watch, whether they're on regular TV, Netflix, whatever the case might be. I don't end up judging a show by who writes it. I don't end up judging a movie by necessarily who directs it. I really honestly don't care. Some of the directors' names are huge in Hollywood and some not so much. I enjoy a show and a movie and everything else for what happens on it. I don't really care so much about that. The only ones I will say who I feel bad for are the ones that are necessarily uncomfortable when he's there. Then yes, that certainly I could totally understand that. And that is the talent. That is the people that are working there and the people that are working for them. And now if they are uncomfortable, then yes, I feel my heart is with them because that's an awful feeling. And it's not easy to go into work every day when you're not comfortable with the guy who's on top of the show. So that I completely get. But as fans, man, I don't know. It's okay to be empathetic. It's okay to feel for the talent, but I don't know. It's just one of those things that, I mean, to me, it really, to us, means nothing. It means nothing.
I mean, it's like seeing people. It's like seeing people have conversations on Twitter and social media asking who produced what match.
Yeah, right.
Again, I want to ask the question: what do you know what goes into producing a match? If you don't, and it's just you see somebody talking about it on social media, so you think it's cool, that's fine. But unless you're looking to get into the business, those types of details really shouldn't matter to you.
Yep.
I'm not saying that about Vince, however, because he is a disgusting person,
right?
And I feel terrible for the people who have to work with him, who were treated poorly,
right,
who don't want to be around him because of the type of person that he is.
Right.
Having said that, though, whether he books a show or Triple H books a show, honestly, I mean, except for a couple of occasions, I haven't seen much of a difference in a couple things. So,
yeah,
I mean, I still don't want the guy around, but
right.
he's gonna. My not wanting him around apparently doesn't mean a damn to him.
I don't think any of the people on Twitter chirping about it does either.
I mean, just saying, he's going to be around until he is no longer around. You can read between the lines. You can interpret that however you want to, but he's going to be around until he's no longer around. So I don't feel like me not watching anymore is going to sway it one way or another.
Yep.
And if I can support the people that I enjoy watching, then that's what I'm going to do.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. And that's 100% how you should think about it. The talent is who we watch for. We don't watch for who's backstage. We don't watch for the writers. We don't watch for any of that. We watch for the talent. And if we're going to support the talent, then you're going to watch. If you enjoy the talent on a show, you're going to watch. That's just how it goes. And that's how wrestling is. So that's about it, I think, for the breaking news. Let's get into the regular news, Jeff.
All right. Well, we're staying on the topic of WWE and talking about a storyline that we're going to talk about more in this show. So yeah.
Man, oh man. They posted yesterday a poster for the pay-per-view, and it was it's posted Bloodline Civil War, Roman Solo versus the Usos. Who will be the ones? This is going to take place, of course, at Money in the Bank. What a listen! I'm thinking to myself, all right, we got past the whole thing with Cody. Now we're getting the implosion from within, right? Speaking of writers, this has been brilliant. And I really had thought after the Cody thing, all right, this has gone too far. This is going to get boring now. It's been anything but. It's much watched TV, and when Roman's there now, like, it's that much more important to watch because there's going to be huge developments. And I will tell you guys, I watched it Right up to the end when Jay was confronting Jimmy, I wasn't sure which way this was going to go. I thought, okay, he's going to super kick his brother and go back with Roman. I really didn't know how they were going to go with this. They kind of got me because I kind of thought, all right, he's going to turn at some point, but they just did it in such a good way. The way he did it, he goes, all right, I'm out. Or you're out, saying it to Jimmy, and then after that he turns around, he goes, "I'm out too," and super kicks
Pause for
Roman.
dramatic effect. It was amazing.
Oh my God, it was just perfectly done. And the Heyman thing, you saw Heyman, was he getting in the head of everybody, and was he in Jimmy's head? And then I love Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman. If you watched him, and it's hard to watch because you're focused on Roman, but the look on Paul's face when Jay super kicked Roman, the look of surprise, he falls over almost into the corner, and he just puts his hand in his head, in his head in his hands, and he's like just staring out at, oh my gosh.
And the tears after.
Right? Yeah, dude. Yeah. This is just brilliant. And I've said this before, and I'll say it again. I don't know that we'll ever see another storyline as good as this. I just don't. Yeah, maybe not in our lifetime anyway. This has just been perfectly done. They took cues from a lot of movies, gangster movies especially, how when things like this form, they form with the family, and then all of a sudden it implodes from within. It's not the outside stuff. The outside stuff kind of nudges it, but then it implodes from inside because the head of the family can't keep the rest of the family under control, and they all want power. That's what it comes down to. They all want power. They want to be that guy. So this has been absolutely tremendous. Kudos to all the players. Even Sami Zayn is still kind of involved. He was backstage when Jay was walking out to the ring, kind of just like stopped and looked and stared at one another, just kind of gave him a nod. So even that is still involved there. And now it's some people say, well, it's over. No, it's not, because now you wonder, the next thing you got to wonder is now Solo is going up against his brother. So, that now he's going to have a dilemma. Does he turn on Roman at some point too? Is it going to be all three of them that are going to turn? Is he going to stay? It's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. It's must-see TV. And the fact that they can just keep this going, man, Jeff, I don't know. They could maybe keep this going until WrestleMania of next year if they really want to.
Well, to add to that point, even if Solo leaves, which I think is possible.
Yep.
Roman, they all have other family too that are in other companies.
Yeah,
so,
they do. They do.
Roman could even up the odds real quick if he wanted.
Yeah, they do.
So just keep that in the back of your mind. I honestly believe that they're going to keep this going. And I think this was the first fall in the empire, no pun intended, of Roman.
Yep.
I think the next will be that he'll be cost the title.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think we'll see Solo betray him. And again, I think Roman could even up the odds real quick by some of his younger cousins that are in the business, or we may get some legendary figures involved in this. And why not? Because this story has been so tremendous.
Yep.
I mean, it's some of the best. I'm not saying it's the best storyline that I've seen, but it's up there. And I will say, I mean, we have a question about it in Sell or No Sell. So just to give that, just to put that out there, just to get your minds ready for that. But honestly, this is one of the best storylines I've ever seen in wrestling.
Same here.
One of the best. The way that it's been done from beginning to end. Roman Jay, Jimmy, they should all get Hollywood looks.
Yeah,
How they've done
yeah,
this. I mean, this is tremendous. I mean,
yeah,
it really is.
yeah,
It's like a movie playing out every week. So,
yeah.
kudos to all of the talent involved. Kudos to the folks writing behind the scenes. I wonder how much of this is on Heyman. You know,
That's a
like
great point.
I wonder how much he's in control of this creative.
Yep.
Because this has just been tremendous.
Yeah.
So, I know a lot of people at the beginning of it was like, "Oh, this," and if once they started doing a little bit more with it, it was like, okay, this is pretty freaking cool. And then it hit a point where, like you said, Joe, people were like, okay, this has been going on for 3 years, basically.
Mhm.
When is it going to end? And now you can say legitimately they could keep this going for another year if they really wanted to.
Yep.
And the way that they keep adding layers to this, not really getting stale because of some of the things that they're doing with the wrinkles behind the scenes. And the other thing that you got to watch out for is this isn't being talked about as much. Does Paul Heyman snake Roman?
Yeah.
Is Paul Heyman really in Roman's corner, or has he set him up to climb to these heights just to pull him back down, just to show, hey, I'm the one pulling the strings. I'm the puppet master.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you notice, every time Jay kept saying he's got to go, Roman even said, he's my wise man, wise man.
Yep.
And you got Heyman back there just laughing it up because Roman is basically doing what he wants them to do. So
Right. Yeah.
there are a lot of different directions that you can go with this thing, and I love every bit of it. I really do. It's great.
And you don't think for one second that Paul Heyman in the drop of a pin would go back with Brock Lesnar like that?
Or the other next big thing, which could be Solo.
Yeah, right. He could. Yeah, he could. Him and Solo could. Yeah, and listen, that's another thing that often happens in things like this too. In those movies, sometimes the older mob boss is pushed out,
Mm-hmm.
and then the person who's kind of like Heyman, the sidekick, tends to move on to the next best thing because they're younger. They have more long term, and they're like, okay, you're yesterday's news. I'm moving on from you. And I'm going, and you can certainly listen. I would not trust if in that storyline in particular, there is no way I would trust Paul Heyman. No way, because he will turn on a dime and go wherever the next big thing is that he thinks. So yeah, that's absolutely a great point. And I mean, my gosh, like Jeff said, 3 years, 3 years.
3 years.
And it's still going. And look, everybody thought that now I don't even know because now my thought was, okay, well, it's got to be Cody, right? I don't know so much anymore. Now it could be that they're going in reverse. Do you remember how this all started where he was wrestling Jay and Jimmy to keep them in line?
Yep.
Now it's all going in reverse. Yep. And what if Jay or Jimmy is the one that beats him and takes the title? It certainly could go that way. And from what I've read, they're saying that Jey Uso, a lot of these places, the dirt sheets and other things are saying that Jey Uso could end up getting built up as the next big face in the WWE. So, for those of you hoping that it was going to be Cody, don't be too sure. It might not be. They may reverse course on this and somebody else might go. But either way, this has been the reason to watch SmackDown. And it's been the reason to watch. I mean, look, Money in the Bank is for Money in the Bank. It's for those briefcases, right? But I'll tell you, that match there is going to get more news and headlines than the Money in the Bank is.
Oh, for sure.
It just will. And that is attributed, like Jeff said, to all of the people involved in this. From Paul Heyman, who people like Bully Ray will tell you is one of the best behind-the-scenes guys, writers in the business today. And you can't deny that. So this could continue all the way through the summer, all the way through next year into WrestleMania, when this might finally blow up. But we are watching history, and all I'll say is stop and enjoy it, because we may never see something like this again, because this is a rarity. When you see even the champions who had the titles for a long, long time didn't have storylines that lasted like this. They all had a storyline for a couple months or so, and they'd move on and they'd go to something else. Hulk Hogan wasn't always involved in the same storyline. The Hulk and Andre thing lasted, what was it, about maybe probably a year, I would say, maybe. Probably a year, but
Hogan and Macho Man
probably lasted around that time with the whole thing with Elizabeth and everything. So, but never have I seen anything that went on for 3 years and kept people's interest. So, kudos to creative, kudos to the writers, the directors, the producers in the back, everybody who's involved in this, as I'm sure the talent are as well. It's the best storyline going in the business right now, hands down. There's none better, and it's been tremendous. It's been amazing to watch.
Absolutely.
Amazing to watch. Heyman is up to something, I think, says bonkers proof fans can handle long-term storylines. Yeah, it is kind of surprising, because we are I want it now. We're in an I want it now generation. And look, all you had to do is go back and watch that and look at the fans' reaction to when Jey Uso planted that super kick on their feet. Everyone was up on their feet, like they were on the edge of their seats. They were ready to explode. And then when he did it, they did. It's tremendous. I'll admit it would be the biggest irony if Roman drops his belt on some place he won it, pay back the same PLE he won the belt 3 years ago. I know the Triple H is head of creative, but I feel like with Heyman I feel like Triple H picked Heyman as the man to succeed him. Hey guys, happy Father's Day. Happy Father's Day, Big Boy Dally. Wow, it's been a while. I haven't seen you for a little bit. Main event, Jey Uso says Deanna the Sheik and Bobo Brazil had a rivalry that lasted 30 years. Well, a much, much different time, Brandon.
Yeah.
A much different time. You saw people that were, that fought each other in the territories, that had matches over and over and over again. But, I'm just talking about that, even those guys would kind of change the stories a little bit. But that was a much, much different time in pro wrestling. So, all right, Jeff, what's up next?
All right, so we got a debut, a premiere of a new show.
We did.
AEW Collision, and this guy right here took the microphone, and I just got to play this real quick.
There it is.
There you go.
Living Color, baby. I have always loved that song, by the way. That band is amazing. I have that on vinyl, actually. Who was ready for CM Punk's return? They had him return in his hometown of Chicago, which was huge. And I did watch Collision last night, so I saw everything. Of course, he came out, raucous ovation from that Chicago crowd. Although there were some times when he got some boos, and they were loud enough to hear. So he got some different reactions. Of course, the crowd behind him, but some of the things they said, I'm not so sure they liked. Now, they may have been booing for some of the other men he was talking about, so that could have been it too. But he came out, kind of did the thing that Punk does, right? You're never going to be short on a lot of words from him, a lot of talk. A lot of people were expecting kind of an explanation as to where he was, what happened with the whole media scrum and that kind of business. You got none of that. He basically was just saying he was gonna, he's gonna be real. That's who he is, and he's never gonna mince words and stuff like that. Came out with a pair of shoes tied around his neck. So a lot of people are like, oh, Is he going to come out and drop those shoes in the ring? Is he going to retire? No. He wore them down, saying he's not retiring. He did talk about, always with the little digs, the symbolism a little bit. Didn't come right out and say who he was talking about, but the fans knew. But what he did do is he still had that title with him, and he did say that until someone beats him for that, he is keeping that title. So, of course, that was his title that he had that he won when he was that the dog collar match that he won that in with MJF? I can't remember now. It was a good while, but he was out for 8 months with the arm injury. Explained how he tore that completely off the bone, and that was the reason why he was gone. But in any case, he's back. Then they had the main event match. Him and FTR wrestled against his old rival, man, Samoa Joe. That was cool. Man. It was really cool when those two confronted each other in the ring. A lot of classic stuff right there. But listen, like him or hate him, and this is the way CM Punk has always been. You either don't like him or you do. He's the type of guy who is he's an anti-hero. You're never going to say he's a face. You're never going to probably say he's a complete heel. You're either going to love him or you're probably going to hate him, and there's really no in between on him. So what he is, though, is he's good for the business. He brings eyes to shows, and I'm sure that Collision is going to basically be his show. So when he goes out on tour with that show, people are going to come out because they're going to want to see CM Punk. Now, I will say Tony Khan was on Busted Open. A lot of people were speculating, and again, the Dirt Sheets got this one wrong too. They were saying they're having separate rosters for these shows. According to Tony, not the case. Now, you aren't going to see, logically, you're not going to see Hangman Page on this show. I'd say
that's a pretty safe bet.
Yeah. You're not going to see the other people that Punk mentioned that he's not really close to on that show. It would just be dumb. So when he says it's not a roster split, it probably just means, it's not a complete split roster. But on the other hand, we're also not going to be putting the people that have friction with CM Punk on that show. But in any case, a lot of other matches were on there. We saw the return of Miro last night. We saw the return of Andrade El Idolo came back last night. We saw a title change, which I think surprised some people. Surprised me. Wardlow dropped the belt to Luchasaurus, of course, being led by Christian Cage, and Christian Cage won him that title. Interference there that they didn't catch. But there's going to be something going on between those two because Christian took it upon himself to really celebrate that as if he won. Not so much what Luchasaurus did. The poor guy was just kind of hanging back when he's over in the corner holding up the title. I'm like, wow. So I don't think that partnership will last very long. But in either case, a Saturday Night Wrestling show was cool to see again. It's been a while. And I do like the entrance team. Elton John Saturday Night's All Right for Fighting was really cool. I'm a little iffy on the announce team. And I told this to Jeff before the show. And again, this is the first show. So obviously I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. They may get better as it goes. Was a little dry for me. I don't want to say boring, but a little not very excited, especially when you see the Dynamite crew and, you hear those guys getting all into it and getting excited about the matches. But again, you got to give them some time. It doesn't happen overnight. This is a brand new show with brand new people. But anyway, yeah, I enjoyed it. It wasn't exactly what I kind of thought. There was a lot of fanfare behind it. The wrestling was good. The people that came out, of course, the Scissor Me Daddy Ass is the funniest thing going. I'm sorry. That's just hilarious. That's just hilarious. We got to see that. Yeah. So, again, like I said, like him or hate him, Punk's back. And the intro is great. Yeah, I love the intro. The intro is fantastic. It reminded me a little bit of Saturday Night's Main Event, which is kind of cool. The intros for Saturday Night Wrestling. It's good to have it back on a Saturday. So, but yeah, we got another show to watch. And like I said, shameless plug, we'll be doing it on our channel. So make sure you come out and check it out with us every Saturday at 7:45. So Jeff, did you get to see it? And if so, what did you think?
I did not watch it in its entirety at the time that it was on TV.
Yeah.
I'll put it like that. I caught some of it live, and then went back and watched some other things to kind of fill in the gaps. What I'll say is this, and some people may take this as an insult. It is what it is. CM Punk is going to CM Punk.
Mm-hmm.
He's just going to do what he does.
Right.
He's going to come out. He's going to get on the mic. He's going to say things that are somewhat controversial.
Yep.
That are going to piss some people off.
Yep.
And that's just what he does.
Yep.
When he has matches, he's still wrestling at a pretty high caliber. Having the moment with Samoa Joe is awesome given their history.
Yep.
But if you're a fan of Hangman Adam Page, or if you're a fan of the Elite, the Bucks,
Yep.
I have a serious question for you. How do you feel after that? Because the Bucks, they responded on Twitter, changing their bio as they often do.
Yep.
If you pay attention to that sort of thing. But yeah, I mean, he's going to do what he does. I will say that the match between Andrade and Buddy Matthews, not Murphy, as was said.
Buddy yes.
Not Buddy Murphy. Matthews. I thought that was a brilliant match.
Yeah, absolutely.
If we can get 1 to 2 of those every Saturday night, that's worth it.
Yeah.
That's worth it.
Yeah, no doubt.
I thought that, again, it had. I'm gonna be honest. I didn't really enjoy it the way I wanted to.
Okay.
I'm going to give it a few episodes before being like, okay, I'm done with this. Or I was pretty irritated last night, aside from a few moments on some things. But I'm going to wait to see before I completely write it off. Because again, things happen. Your first show, you want to work the bugs out, that kind of thing. So
right.
So we'll see what happens.
It's a very young show. Again, it's the first time it's been on. Big Boy Dolly just asked, do you think Collision will keep up with Dynamite in ratings, overtake Dynamite, or fall to Rampage levels? I don't think it'll overtake Dynamite. No, Dynamite's always going to be their main show. It's kind of like WWE is with Raw, and I mean, it's a hard comparison though, because SmackDown's popular too.
Yeah.
But I don't think it'll overtake Dynamite. I think they'll get an audience, and they might end up getting a better audience for that than they are with Rampage for a few reasons. One, because Rampage is only an hour show. Two, because Rampage is on at a very bad time. 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time on a Friday is not a conducive time for people to watch. It's just not. You're regardless of whether you say your audience is not necessarily kids. I hate to say it, but a lot of them are. And if they're, not watching after 10, you're losing audience that way. They will watch on a Saturday, however, because a Saturday night at 8 o'clock is a better time. It's a weekend. There's nobody, kids aren't in school, et cetera, et cetera. So I do think that it's going to get better numbers than Rampage does. I do. I don't think it'll overtake Dynamite though. I thought that was the only negative part of the Collision was the announce team. Yeah, they again a little on the boring side for me. Not a lot of excitement there. But again, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. So, they're working together for the first time, and I'm sure they'll probably turn it around. Like Jeff though, I wasn't overwhelmed by it. I'm not going to say the show was I want to say the show was a 10. I'd probably give it between a 6 and a 7 if I had to score it. Some of the wrestling was really good. Some of the moments were really good and stuff. But it is a new show, and they will have to get worked out exactly what they want to do on there. And the other thing they don't want to fall into with that, don't always change up the lineups, because you're going to run into a wall. If you constantly are putting new people filtering in and out of there, you won't see continuations of storylines because you can't. Because if they're not on there every week, it's tough. So they're going to have to decide what they want to do and stick to, the same people on the show, or if they're going to be going and moving people around, it's going to be difficult to do. So, but listen, it's the first show. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
And we'll go from there. But again, you can come out and join me. Jeff will pop in when he can, and we'll see it together.
And I'll say this too. Don't get me started on the TNT title. We don't have enough time to talk about that title right now.
Yeah.
If you want to ask my opinions on that, feel free to hit me up in the DMs. Be ready for your DM in response to be very long, because I have a lot of issues with how that title has been hot potatoed, we'll say, at times.
Yeah.
And I'll just leave it at that, because if I start, I won't stop. So
yeah, it kind of does go back and forth and back and forth. So yeah, I agree. They need to when you do that, it loses the luster of the importance of the title.
Mm-hmm.
Because it just is like, okay, it's almost like, you know what it reminds you of, honestly, the 24/7 belt. When they're changing that every single week, somebody new comes out and pins somebody and takes it. It loses its luster a little bit. So yeah, I agree. They want that to be built up. They want that to be important. Yeah, you gotta have somebody carry that for a little bit. So yeah, I agree. Kevin Kelly's never been known for his exciting match calling. Andrade versus Matthews, match of the night. Yeah, no doubt. Jeff's 100% right. It was. Yeah, that was a great match.
Great match.
JR had a rough day in general yesterday. He needs rest, says Derek. Poor Jim Ross. Yeah, so again, we'll see how it goes. Again, like I said, shameless plug. Come out next week with I will be here. Jeff may pop in from time to time, of course, when he doesn't have obligations or the kids, but I will be here, so you can come out and join me, and we will watch along Collision together. We'll go on the journey together. Something new for us to do. We haven't really covered much AEW on our channel, so those of you who are fans, come out, join us on Saturday, and we will go through it together, and we'll talk about it together during the show. All right. Moving on, Jeff, what's next?
All right, so we're going to stick with AEW and talk about the match between MJF and Adam Cole, baby. Hold on, Cole. I might have a little something that's going to, if you're a fan of Adam Cole, you might remember this if I can find it. I've added so many different things.
Jeff's been busy on the soundboard.
That I'm having trouble finding it. But yeah, this match was really, really strong.
No doubt, man. No doubt. I'll give him a second to see if he can find his sound.
Okay. All right, here we go.
There it is. This match was tremendous. A half an hour, right? 30-minute time limit, went the distance. These two have got a lot of chemistry together, and now you kind of wonder, all right, Adam Cole didn't win, didn't lose. The time ran out. I was waiting to see online the uproar, because whenever a match ends this way, you'll see the Twitter birds come out being like, oh my God, that was hard. Why did they end it that way without a winner? What are they doing? That's terrible. Oh my God, why didn't they? Look, guys, it's called the storyline, and that's how it goes. But I will say, this could very, very well be setting up for a rematch between these two down the road at some point, and Adam Cole, baby, could be the one who's going to take that title from MJF. But again, chemistry between them, tremendous. And man, we talk about classic wrestling and stuff on here a lot, right? It is hard to find in today's wrestling two men that can step in that ring and you know you know that you are going to get a stellar match because they just work well together. Jeff, you are a Ricky Steamboat fan. You know his wars with Ric Flair.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, that is, when you're talking top of the mountain, as far as a feud is concerned, that is one of the ones to look at. I'm not saying these guys are that because no one will touch that, but they have a potential to get to that level if they continue to go at it. And I think it's look, that was I was tremendous. It was absolutely. Yeah. And then the cool thing was, sometimes you figure at the end of a match like that, when the bell gets rung and he's counting 1, counting 2, the match ends, and there was like, what the hell happened? And then there was like the time ran out. When a match ends that way, a lot of time you may get the crowd booing because they're not happy about it. But you know what happened? And this was brilliant writing and brilliant storytelling. MJF gets his stuff, walks out of that ring, and Adam Cole's like, 5 more minutes. And MJF's like, Nope. And he turned it around. Instead of having a crowd screaming and yelling at an official, at a timekeeper, booing everybody else because they didn't like the way it ended, they turned it around, and the heat goes right back on MJF, which was brilliant.
Masterful.
Absolutely brilliant.
Masterful.
Brilliantly done. And I know Bully Ray talked about this a lot on Busted Open as well. He pretty much said the same. It was brilliant. And the match was brilliant. Everything about it was brilliant. I loved how it was. You never really know who was going to win. They both had chances, but this isn't over by a long shot. And it's going to be really, really interesting to see where this goes. And Adam Cole will definitely get another shot at that title, no doubt.
Yeah. And there's a couple things I want to say to that. One of my trainers used to say, you can't really have the dance alone in the ring. You got to have a dance partner. And, honestly, this was good. This was really good. I feel like with MJF, every time we see him, he's getting better.
Yeah.
Now, having said that, I don't want there to be an overdependence on him, because seeing him when we see him is special.
Right.
Continue to make it special.
Yeah.
But to turn that where most people would have griped and complained like, stupid timekeeper, stupid, rules, stupid referee. Why not have the heat go right back on your heel?
Right.
That is great. It's a great touch to a great story. And can we please stop with the Adam Cole slander? Listen, the dude, he's small. He's on the smaller side.
Yep.
And that's okay. Not every wrestler is going to be Hulk Hogan.
Nope.
And put that and have that size, and nor do they need to be. Adam Cole is one of the very best professional wrestlers that I've ever seen.
Yeah, he is.
And MJF, although he hasn't been doing it quite as long, is slowly starting to not really slowly, pretty doggone fast actually, moving up my list of favorites that I've ever seen, because the dude can do it all.
Yep.
So I love the fact that they've had him showcase his talents in different styles of matches. It goes to show how great he is. Obviously, we know what he can do on the microphone, but to see him continuing to evolve in the ring, it has just been tremendous, and I'm glad that we get to witness it. They put on a great match, dynamic storytelling. What more can you ask for from a match, And it is. We're definitely going to get something later on between these two.
No doubt.
It's not a question. We're going to get something, and I can't wait.
No doubt. Brilliantly said. And Mark Henry had a quote too on Busted Open. He said, "We don't always have to see the big muscle men, the slapping meat all the time. That's not how it has to be." Look, guys like
anymore.
Right. Yeah, man. I like a guy like Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan has been around now for so long. He's never been the biggest guy, but he went up against the big guys. He would win against the big guys. So, that doesn't even matter. If they're good at what they do, I don't care what size they are, man. They were tremendous. Both of them were tremendous. Listen, I liked Adam Cole when he was in NXT. I knew he was going to be a star. The guy just has it. You could tell that he spent time with Shawn Michaels. You could tell he spent time with guys like Triple H. He's got that sort of a background. He is just a great wrestler. He knows what he's doing. He can get the crowd behind him. MJF, look, I one of the things I was seeing on Twitter on Wednesday when I was watching it, oh my God, look at MJF's record this year. He's 4-0. He's only wrestled 4 lousy matches all year long, blah, 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 blah. I get it. He doesn't wrestle that often, but you know what? Like Jeff said, sometimes you don't need a guy to wrestle 17 times a year when he's a champion. You don't, like he said, when you see him, it's kind of a special moment because he doesn't wrestle very much, especially in singles matches. And he works that into his character. He's like, I'm the champ. I'll wrestle when I want to. I don't have to wrestle every single week. I don't need to wrestle every month. I'll wrestle when I want. So, that was absolutely tremendous. In a night of tremendous things, by the way.
Yeah.
And I don't know if we have this in our news, but there was another confrontation in that show that I told Jeff, I can't believe that never happened before.
Oh, man, yeah.
In all of the years they've been in the same wrestling companies, Jericho and Sting never met. That's insane. Like they advertise that as this is the first confrontation these two have ever had. That's insane. They come out with the bats and stuff like that. Listen, if we're gonna get that after all these years, I don't think it's gonna be a 5-star match.
Well, Joe, let's be honest. It's
right.
in AEW, and we know that Meltzer watches AEW, so it'll be if it's not 5-star, it'll be 4.75. yeah.
But look, if we get those two big names going at it at some point, however they can, oh my God, that's gonna sell tickets. It's a dream matchup between two veterans of the ring, and I understand Sting is doing this at 63, 64 years old. Jericho obviously no spring chicken anymore either, but look, you get those two names in a ring across the ring together, and however they're going to do this, I'm down for it. I mean, it's just going to be an unbelievable matchup. Two men carrying black baseball bats. Why not?
And then we get to hear this too.
Little Jericho, yes. Jeff on top of that soundboard tonight, baby. Look out.
I'm trying.
Look out.
No, I it's hard to believe that as long as both of these guys have been around.
Yeah.
But I was when we were talking about it, Joe, you got to think about where both guys were in WCW.
Yeah.
Jericho was a cruiserweight back then.
Yep.
Sting was at the tippy top of the card.
He was
very different places.
Yeah.
Very different places. So
they were.
I mean, this is awesome, and we've had to wait a long time for it. If you've been a long time wrestling fan, but I'm fine with that. Just to see those two in the ring face to face was awesome.
Yeah, it was. It really was. I'm gonna love it. Maybe Jericho brings out that persona of his where he wears the makeup if they fight. I'm down. It's gonna be just. Look, guys, I've said this before. I'll say it again. Nostalgia sells. It just does. And we're seeing that in the film industry, and we're seeing it in wrestling. It's going to be great. But it was a great show. Dynamite was tremendous. Mm-hmm. And that's why Collision, I don't know, maybe Tony Khan might have wanted to rethink that a little bit and debut Collision a week after. because that was really a tough act to follow. Dynamite was
Yeah.
really, really, really good.
It was good.
So following that up with the Rampage and the and Collision this week, it was a little tough because you
I'm not
followed up
talking about Rampage.
yeah.
I'm not talking about that.
Yeah, I didn't see it. I didn't see it. So
I saw enough of it to know that I'm not talking about it.
all right. Well, there you go. We'll leave that right there. Joker, Jericho. Yes. Yeah. But anyway, Dynamite was awesome. And both of these things during that show were just part of it. And the actual show was really, really good. So, all right, man. What do we got next?
All right, man. So, talking about great weeks.
Oh, my goodness. These two gentlemen on top of the wrestling world in 2023. Who would have thought? Respective champions of their show. We have the world champion, Alex Shelley, the X Division champion, Chris Sabin. The Motor City Machine Guns are on top of the Impact world, and not for the tag team titles, for each of their respective titles that they're holding. What a moment for both of these guys at Against All Odds. A shocker that Shelley won and beat Macklin to me. I was completely taken by surprise by that result. Never saw it coming. Sabin, a little more, that I kind of figured he would win, but you could never tell with Trey Miguel whether he'd end up losing that or not. But both of these men now have the titles. Where does this go? I know Jeff will tell you where he thinks it's going to go, and I'm tend to inclined to believe him because what a Slammiversary match it would make if someone turns in that X Division title for a shot, which he could do, and it would be Chris Sabin versus Alex Shelley for the Impact World Heavyweight Championship at Slammiversary this year, which Jeff predicted, I don't know what, 2-3 shows ago. And, we all know on the Impact show, if you come out and watch Impact with us every week, that much of the stuff that Jeff predicts does end up working out. But yeah, man, Impact. We have another match for Slammiversary. That was an amazing moment on Impact. Scott D'Amore interfered with Bully Ray. Bully Ray comes out with basically some paperwork that he sent into the main office saying that Scott D'Amore was acting incorrectly for a person of his position, was treating him unfairly, and that he was uncomfortable being around him. And he did get Scott D'Amore taken out of his position, but that wasn't all, because Scott D'Amore turned around then and said, well, I may not be still in charge, but you and I are going to face each other at Slammiversary, and it's basically Scott D'Amore, PCO, going up against Macklin and Bully Ray at Slammiversary. So, and the first time in I think he said the first time in 18 years he's going to wrestle. Was that what I read?
Yeah, first time in a long time.
So you don't really see that happen very often when the CEO of the company is wrestling. But yeah, Impact is just killing it. Slammiversary is going to be amazing. And, we already have that. We also have the women's title match we know is set. Trinity going up against Deonna Purrazzo. Could be Trinity's first time with the title in Impact. What a journey she's had coming from WWE. Impact is unbelievable. There isn't a night, and the guys in the chat can tell you that come out and watch Impact with us week by week. There hasn't really been a show this year, and we're in June, that got less than, I think probably the lowest one we may have heard scores of, or average scores in our chat, was about an 8.75.
Yeah.
So that's pretty damn good. They are just killing it on Thursdays. Killing it. If you're not watching and you like wrestling and you don't have anything to do on a Thursday, pay the 99 cents to their YouTube channel. Watch the show. Not just because we do it, but come out and watch it. You will not be sorry. It is amazing wrestling. They are doing an amazing job. They have got the best women's division in all of wrestling. hands down, and it's not close. They are destroying it, and seeing those two men win, two guys who have been around, they're TNA originals. They've been around as long as the company's been around. To see them standing, Jeff, at the top of the mountain was a pretty cool thing.
Alex Shelley winning his first world title there. Seeing his reaction, him being able to get the word "yep" over.
Oh my God! It's all he said. Yep.
Yep.
Even as the T-shirt. Yep.
Yep.
Oh my gosh! Amazing.
I love it. I love it for him. Impact right now, and right now the way that Slammiversary is set up, you've got Alex Shelley versus Nick Aldis.
Yep.
Now, what could get really, really interesting? I'm not saying this happens, but it could get really interesting. We know that Macklin has his rematch in Australia in a couple weeks.
Yep.
What if, just what if, at Slammiversary, we see Macklin added to that title match between Nick Aldis and Alex Shelley? And then, what if, just what if, Chris Sabin says, you know what? I feel like these two are going to gang up on my guy. Let me cash in my option C and kind of use that to try and protect my guy, but also go after this title too.
Fatal four-way.
Not saying that that's going to happen, but I kind of hope it does. That's the direction that I'm leaning in right now. But yeah, Impact has been on fire. Impact has been absolutely great. And it's not like it just started this year.
Right.
It's not like it was just last year. It's been that way for several years.
Yeah.
People just need to watch it.
Yep.
I think there was an article out where D-Lo mentioned people giving Impact like 2 or 3 shows. That would be my challenge to you. If you haven't watched Impact, if your last thought about Impact was TNA and
the
Dixie
5-sided ring or whatever, yeah,
all that, listen, it's not the same. Give it like 2 shows. And there are not a lot of things I guarantee, but if you're a wrestling fan and you're someone that really enjoys wrestling, I think you'll like Impact Wrestling. I really do. Give it a try. Joe made a statement, and if you don't watch Impact Wrestling and you think he's just blowing smoke by saying the Knockouts division is the best women's division in wrestling, go argue with someone else. Don't argue with us because we both have the same opinion. Honestly, not just the women at the top of the division, but the entirety of the division is tremendously talented. And I mean, it's so fun to watch. It's so fun to watch because another thing about Impact that I really enjoy is you don't get a lot of the tribalism that you get with
that's very true.
The other companies. So that's also fun when you can take a break from that garbage. So yeah, if you have a chance, if you have the buck to spare, get a membership for a month and check out Impact for a little bit and tell us what you think. Come check it out with us.
Yeah, absolutely. And you guys all know each other out there in the chat. We have a very welcoming community. They love the show. They come out with us every week, and yeah, it's I can't really say anything more about it. It's so we talk about when you do something, the old saying. I'm old, so I'm allowed these. But time flies when you're having fun. You've heard that. Well, we were looking, sometimes when we watch the show, we look at the clock, we look down, and, we all do that, right? Watching anything we watch. But we looked down at the clock last week, and the show was practically about 30 minutes from being over before we even glanced at a clock. and I have my clock like right to the right of where I'm looking on the computer screen. I didn't even glance at it, and the show was like, snap your fingers like that. The show was just about over. That tells you that you're having an amazing time watching something. You're glued to it. I was marking out at the beginning because they ended up having, right? I literally was. I was so excited. They literally had a 5-on-5 with 2 women and 3 of the men. So where do you see this? A 5-on-5, including 2 women in the 5-on-5, with the men along with them. That was tremendous. I don't think I've ever seen that. So the stuff they are doing, but that just goes to show you, just to confirm how talented the women are on that show. They can step right in there with the men. It's amazing. It really, really is amazing.
Yeah.
Thanks for the kind words, Shane. We appreciate that.
Yeah.
But yeah, come out and check it out. If you haven't done so, like he said, give it 3 shows. Pay 99 cents. You'll get access to 4 shows for the 99 cents. Spend the $1. Come out and I know it's hard. I know it's hard to sometimes go and watch something new because you feel like, well, I'm getting in on this. It's like watching a soap opera for the first time when it's been on for years and years. I get it. I did it too. When Jeff told me about it, I hadn't watched. Now it's my favorite wrestling show of the week, hands down. And there's a little bit of something for everybody in there, a little bit of something for everyone. And that includes like the supernatural, if you like that kind of stuff. That includes the blood and guts and gore, if you like that kind of stuff. There is a little bit in there for everyone. So check it out. I know you will enjoy it, and I know you will like it. So check it out if you haven't done so already.
Yeah, and I'll say this about last week's show, and you marking out with that first segment.
Oh, my God.
Folks, this segment lasted 25 minutes. And there was no downtime. It wasn't like, oh, my gosh, I wonder when this is going to be over.
Yep.
It was tremendous the entire time, and there was no wrestling. All in-ring promo, people coming down, challenging one another. It was great. It was great.
Yep.
And like Deanna said, if you give Impact a chance, you will believe in Joe Hendry.
Yeah. And if you don't know what that means, you got to go look it up.
Come look it up.
That man is brilliant. He was just in a little program with Dirty Dango, which those of you who watch WWE know him as Fandango. He did this video. What he does is he does like entrance videos that basically poke fun at the guys he's wrestling. The one he did for Dango, freaking hilarious.
Amazing.
Freaking hilarious. So come out and check it out.
And if you haven't watched it in a while, and there are some names that you haven't heard of, here's one that you might not have heard in a while. Santino Marella.
Right? The Cobra. Yes. The Cobra. There. And he's used the Cobra, by the way. So, yeah, man. Give it a shot. Come out and check it out. Come and join us while you're watching it. And I guarantee you might just find something that you may want to continue to watch. And when you realize, like Jeff said, there's not all that pressure. There's not all that drama. There's not all that other thing that, oh my God, that kind of dread sometimes. It's very drama free. And that's one of the other things we love about it too. Where do I spend the $1? YouTube. It is Impact's YouTube page. You got to go to their YouTube page. You will see there's a membership spot on there. You just go on there and you join the membership. Ironically enough, it's called the oh, I hate this. It's called the Insiders. You're an Impact Insider when you join. So, just think of us. Yeah. Man. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Yeah. Anyway, well, but yeah, you won't be sorry. It's $1 well spent. It really is.
And Big Boy Dally, if you want to be a little more adventurous and you got a few extra bucks to spare and you got $5, you also get their pay-per-views, like not the bigger pay-per-views, but they're smaller pay-per-views.
Like the one we just watched, the Against All Odds one.
Like you get that one included as well. So
Yep.
It's well worth it, honestly, for some great wrestling, great storylines, and a variety of different things. And like Christopher said, you get Dancing Moose. You get cheese graters. You get you get concrete blocks. You get staples.
Don't even get me started. I've never seen a stapler used quite that way. Basically, we got a guy get his lips stapled to his own gums, and then pulling them out with pliers. Oh my God, I don't want to relive that. Yeah. So if you like I said, there's a little bit of something for everyone. You've got the coven for kind of a supernatural thing. You've got the matches where you get the blood. Sami Callihan always good for that. And some of these other guys are not adverse to doing that. You've got an amazing women's division, and it's just really, really good. You've got some guys that you'll recognize from WWE and other areas, other places that they were prior. So, spend the $1, spend the $5, come out and check it out. You won't be sorry. Tazzy's here. It's a party, baby. Happy Father's Day, Joe and Jeff. Would have texted you that, but my phone found a wall. Well, that's not good. That's not good. Happy Father's Day, everyone. Thanks, Tazzy. I hope your phone isn't in too bad of a shape. That really sucks when that happens.
I got to do this because Tazzy showed up and because the soundboard is back. So here we go, yes. Tazzy. Just for you.
The soundboard has returned, Tazzy. It's back. It's back. Tazzy's another one who could tell you. He comes out and joins us on Impact when he can. He'll tell you too. It's an amazing show. It really, really is an amazing show. All right, moving on. What do we got?
I believe, Joe.
Oh, is it that time?
That is it for the news, and yeah, it's that time. So
it's everybody's favorite segment of this show, including probably ours. You know what time it is. It's time for your favorite section of the show. Here we go.
The airing of grievances. I got a lot of problems with you people. Now, you're going to hear about it.
I absolutely love that. Jerry Stiller, the Festivus thing, and that's where we got this segment from. The 2 hours, Big Boy Dally. Yes, 2 hours. We are at that part of the show where we do the airing of grievances. So these are just some things that we like to get off our chest, something that might be bothering us a little bit from time to time. It's good to clear, right? It's good to get that out in the open. Good to let people know what we're thinking, and it could be anything. It could be in the world of pro wrestling in general. It could be with a particular thing in wrestling, but this is where we get all that out and we air our grievances. We don't wait until Christmas Eve or December. We do this on this show. So we are going to do some airing of grievances right now for you guys. All right, Jeff, do you want to go first? You want me to go first? What do you want to
do? It doesn't matter. I can go first, but
okay, go right ahead, sir.
I'll say this though. If anybody has a problem with the airing of grievances,
I got 2 words for you.
Yes, that's perfect. Actually, love it. Jeff's having fun on the soundboard. I love it. That's awesome.
I'm having too much fun with this.
That's
man.
Awesome. All right, Jeff, the floor is yours, my friend.
All right. Well, I'm not going to take too long, but I guess I'm going to try to say this in a very calm. It is not going to be about the TNT title, Big Boy Dally. We don't have long enough for that. I won't get into that conversation right now. Let people enjoy what they enjoy. I've said this so many times, but I forget which rapper said this. It might have been Jay-Z. What you eat doesn't make me, you know what. And Derek, you are overdue for a giggity. So Here you go.
Giggity.
It, just because you don't like something doesn't mean other people don't. And just because you don't like something, it doesn't mean that you're going to be able to, persuade people or convince them to come to your side because you don't like something. There are a lot of people who really enjoy AEW. There are a lot of people who really enjoy the Bloodline storyline and other storylines in WWE. It doesn't have to be but the Bloodline, if this was being done in it's not being done in AEW. It's being done in WWE. If you don't like WWE, don't comment on it, especially if you're not watching it. It's pretty simple. I've seen people on social media talk about how trash the Bloodline storyline is. At that point, I don't think I can take you seriously because it's not trash. It's been one of the better storylines that we've seen in professional wrestling in the last, I'm going to say 25 years. I know I'm going back a ways, but it's been a long time. So just appreciate what you appreciate. And if you don't like something, it's fine, but you don't have to try and post something for relevancy to get other people to join in and be like, yeah, I hate them too. It just makes you look like a clown. There are a lot of other things I want to say it makes you look like, but I'm trying to turn my life around, and I'm trying not to say certain words anymore. So so I'm just saying, if you don't like it, if you don't like the amount of commercial breaks or things of that nature, just chill out. Like we don't need your opinions. Sometimes everyone has an opinion. I agree with that. Everyone's opinion, I'm not going to say is appreciated, but everyone's opinion, you have the ability to share your opinion. Now, from said opinion, I have the ability to form my own opinion about you. I'm not judging you. I'm just thinking that you might not have the best judgment. But to call that storyline, hey, he's been with me for a long time, Tazzy. We've been rocking for a long time. So I'm just trying to do things right. But yeah, it disturbs me how people hate watch stuff, or they just hate post and they haven't even watched something. Oh, I saw somebody say, "Oh, the Bloodline storyline is stupid. It's been going on way too long." And like, seriously, this is like watching cinema. This is what that is. Have appreciation for it, or just shut your mouth. There, I said it. Shut your mouth. If you can't have an appreciation for it and realize that others have appreciation for it, even if you don't, for whatever reason, not saying that everybody has to like it because I like it or we like it or whatever, but don't crap on something just because you don't like a company. Don't crap on something just because you're a AEW hater or a WWE hater. Like the stuff with CM Punk. We don't have enough time to get into all of that. I have a lot of opinions about that. However, if you don't like CM Punk, if you don't like AEW, and you just hate posting and you didn't watch last night, you didn't see how genuinely thrilled the city of Chicago was to have CM Punk in front of them speaking on a live microphone at a brand new show. If you're just tweeting like, oh, he sucks and he's overrated, do yourself a favor. Get a life. Get something. Find Jesus. Do something.
Get something.
Because you need it. Like you need it seriously. So, all right, that's it for me. I feel like I have to bring that one up like once a month sometimes. But I feel like it's necessary, Joe, because people just piss me off sometimes with their thinking that because they don't like something, they're an authority and they have to convince someone else to not like it too, just because they don't want to be in the clubhouse by themselves. You know, it reminds me of, you remember the Little Rascals movie from the
Yes.
90s?
Yeah.
And you had Spanky and all the fellas in the He-Man Woman Haters
Yep.
Club.
Yep.
And I feel like it's a mix between the Little Rascals, the He-Man Woman Haters Club, and for those of you who watched Chappelle's show back in the day, the Player Hater Olympics, where
Yes.
you got all the people that are there just saying hate, 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 hate. I feel like that's what some of these internet wrestling people do. Is just they just like to hate on crap all the
Oh
time.
God.
So anyway,
Yeah.
I'm done.
Yeah. It's just I can't like the amount of energy that people spend to hate things is beyond me. Like I just don't get it. Like it would be so much easier to just walk away and go do something productive other than to continue to do that. Yeah, I mean, he's so right. And the fact that we have to come on here and just talk about that a lot is just ridiculous. But mine, if I have to go on to the socials and see another video like I saw that was posted about Jeff Hardy being badgered in an airport by a complete moron, for lack of a better term, or a term that I just don't want to use here. I'm telling you, man, this kind of crap just needs to stop. I don't understand the mentality of people anymore. Like, I don't get it. My God, these wrestlers are human beings. They are not. When I saw that, I was infuriated. I think Rhea Ripley shared it. Jeff, if you didn't see it, Jeff was approached in an airport by some dude who had okay, look, I get it, right? People get starstruck. You're gonna see somebody, it's like, oh my God, that's a he's a wrestler, he's a celebrity. I really, really would like to go. That is not the time or the place. Listen, if Jeff was nice enough to go through it, now he just didn't ask for one little thing. This dude kept going through binders of shit that he wanted him to sign. Yeah. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, are you kidding me right now? And my guess is he probably may not have even been a fan. He might have been getting these signed to take to his little shop somewhere in Crap Hole, USA and sell it. Or he's going to put it on eBay and sell it. Whatever the case might be, Jeff was way nicer than a lot of people would have been. This dude just thinks, where do they get the audacity? Or were people brought up just, I mean, I don't know. Were they born in a barn? Were they raised by animals? Like, I just don't understand where some people get their brains. Like, have you ever been in an airport? You guys out in the chat, have you been on a plane? I have, and it sucks. It is one of the worst things to go through in your life. It is not a pleasant experience. Most of the time you're waiting, you're sitting, you're running around. You may have been leaving a destination that you're traveling to go home. You may not even be in the best, how should I say it, appearance. You don't, you travel in whatever is going to make you comfortable on the plane. You're not going to look your best. It is not a fun time. Okay. It's a necessary evil in life. It is not a fun time. That is the last place that a wrestler wants to be approached. And I know there's people that wait for them in hotel rooms. There's people that bug them at dinner. An airport is the last damn place that people want to be approached, right? My God, they owe you nothing. I don't give a damn if you watch their show every week. I don't give a damn if you paid for a ticket to go see them. They owe you nothing. He owed that guy absolutely nothing, and he did it out of the grace of his heart to do all that. Man, if Jeff is a better man than me, because I would have told him where to go. I would literally have called him out and said, listen, you a-hole, I am going to a plane right now. Does it look like I have time to stop with you and sign not just one? If it were, I still would have felt great about it. But if it were just one piece of paper or something like that, I could have let it go. Not just one, but several things you want me to sign here when I'm doing something in my personal life to get me from one destination to another. He could have been on a time constraint. So many times your flight is late. You have to run to a flight. I know. I've been there, right? And he did it. This is nonsense. Nonsense that these people are still doing this. The thing with Rhea Ripley that we saw back when that happened with her, I think that was after Money in the Bank, Royal Rumble. That happened to her, where she was bombarded. She looked exhausted. Same place, airport again. She was exhausted, and she's just standing there trying to smile, signing these things. My God, let these people alone. If you want to be polite and be nice, and you see them, walk over to them and say, oh, hey, how are you? And say, oh, it's so cool to see you, or something like that, and move on, and say, hey, I'm a big fan. Have a great day, and move on. That's all they have time for. And you know what? If you are polite to them and you do that, they will. There was a wrestler. I can't remember the person who did it, but it was recently. They put on their Twitter page. Might have been someone from Impact. Now that I'm thinking about it, they put it on their Twitter page that said someone recognized them. They were out to dinner. Someone recognized them as they were coming out. They went over and they walked up to him and they said, oh, hey, man, I'm a big fan. Hope you have a nice day. And then he wrote on his Twitter that he was so thankful that person didn't stop him. He shouted that little interaction out. And he said, thank you so much for not bothering me when I was having dinner, when I was out with whoever. And and all you just said was, hey, I'm a big fan. Just wanted to say hi. That's fine. That's okay. But it is not okay to think that because someone works in an entertainment industry, where whoever it is, actor, musicians, wrestlers, it doesn't matter. You do not own them. I don't care if you spend your $10 on a CD or a download. I don't care if you're spending money on a WWE ticket. I don't care. You don't have the right to come up to somebody and say, here you go, and shove a book of autograph stuff in front of their face. Grow up, realize what you're doing, turn it around on your foot. Like put that shoe on the other foot. Turn it around to yourself. Would you like someone coming up and bothering you when you're I don't know, where do these people work? Who knows, right? But would you like to have someone coming up to you, stopping you in the middle of your dinner with your wife and your kids or your girlfriend, or stopping you from getting to a place you need to be at a deadline? Would you, stop and think for a second. My God, stop being so damn entitled. We are not entitled because we watch somebody on a TV screen. So I'm tired of seeing it. I'm tired of seeing these wrestlers have to put things on Twitter and defend themselves because some asshole ruins it for everybody else and acts like a moron. I just saw there was a post by, I think one of you guys shared it. Alexa Bliss had to put up another post on Twitter mentioning all the things that people are saying. They're telling her to divorce her husband. My God, what is wrong with people? What is wrong with you people? And then you wonder why. People wonder why. Well, geez, why doesn't Alexa post to Twitter anymore? Duh.
I wonder why.
Do you think maybe because morons ruin it? I mean, why would you want to? Good Lord, I can look back at old times and back in the day. Let me tell you something. We interviewed some older wrestlers on our show. If someone would have done that to one of those people back in the 70s and 80s, they would have got clocked. The wrestler would have literally clocked them and been done with it. And they wouldn't have cared less because that was a different generation then. So they would have just been like, get the hell out of my face, shoved them down, and walked away. And they would have had every right to do it.
And you know what's funny? I was listening to, there was a clip on YouTube of Ric Flair. He was on Joe Rogan's podcast, and they were talking about some of those stories back in the day. And he started talking about Harley Race and Haiku, who Haiku ended up being Ming in WCW for those that watch WCW.
Yep.
But he was talking about them, how they just punch a fan.
Yeah, dude.
Just trying to be stupid. But Joe, you bring up some great points. A lot of times when these folks are traveling or they're out to eat or wherever they are, they're just trying to be people. They're just trying to live their life just like you and I live ours. And if you go up to them and you say, hey, just wanted to let you know I'm a huge fan. I appreciate what you do. I enjoy what you do. I support you. You're more apt to get them to say, hey, do you want to take a picture? Or, hey, do you have something you want me to sign? They may turn that interaction around to do that for you, even when you didn't ask for it, because you've greeted them with respect. And you're not some spoiled brat that's coming up to them. And the other part of this, Joe, that I don't think enough people are talking about is you talked about how many items this person brought to the airport to have Jeff Hardy sign.
Yep.
Okay. 2 questions here. How did this person know that Jeff Hardy was going to be at that airport?
Right.
To bring all of these items to sign.
Yep.
They obviously had to do some internet sleuthing.
Mm-hmm.
And I will a little bit of stalking to figure out, okay, this is where they're traveling to and from, so I need to be here at this time to catch. That's scary.
It is.
That's scary.
Yeah.
And it's even scarier for the women out there like Rhea Ripley, like Alexa Bliss, who, like you said, posted to Twitter. And some of the comments under these tweets and posts are just downright disgusting.
Mm-hmm.
Just disgusting. The fact that you call yourself a fan and you're telling someone to divorce their spouse because you have an unhealthy obsession with how they live their lives. That's a you problem. To tell someone that a fake account scammed you out of money, and I'm sorry that that's the case, but to then blame the person who had nothing to do with that and say disgusting, despicable things, it doesn't make them look bad. It makes you look terrible. So yeah, man, another one, you nailed that one right on the head. So people just need to stop being entitled brats and be glad that you don't have someone like Haiku out there that you're trying to get an autograph from, because he might would have put his foot where the sun doesn't shine.
Dude, no doubt. No doubt. That would not have flew back then. No doubt. No doubt. Well, there you go. There's our grievances segment for this week. Hope
Joe, are you having some internet issues? Uh-oh.
Enjoyed it. Just some one on my. Is that just on my end, or is it your end as well?
Yeah, you're like you're freezing and
going in and out. Okay, let me
Yeah,
let me log out, log back in.
Okay, I'm gonna put this up then because we're gonna go into sell or no sell next. So
Okay,
I will wait on Joe.
I'll be right back.
Okay. I'll wait on Joe to pop out and then pop back into the stream, and then we'll keep going and go to sell or no sell next. And we have some interesting topics this week, and we need some chat participation. So when we start going over these topics, let us know your thoughts and your position on a lot of these. So Big Boy Dallas saying, I hope the next person who confronts wrestlers with a bunch of stuff gets a big FU written on the stuff they have. That would be that would be funny. Or if someone signs an autograph and says you entitled brat, and they think that the person has signed their name. That would be fun. All right, so Joe's back.
Okay.
All
Hopefully that fixes it. I don't know. It happened a couple of times. I don't know if like I was getting a spinning thing almost like the internet was going out. So
Yeah.
Hopefully that fixes it. Are we good?
Yeah.
Can you hear? Nope.
I can
Still
hear,
going out, or
hear
no?
you now. It went out for like a brief second, but you're
Okay.
back now, so we're good.
Okay.
All right,
Okay.
so we'll go ahead and play the intro for Sell or No Sell. Let's ring this bell.
It is time for Sell or No Sell. You guys can play along in the chat. Basically, this is our a segment where we either like it or we don't. Of course, it's up there. If you like it, you're going to sell it. If you're not, you're going to no sell it. Play along in the chat as we go. What's the first category, Jeff?
All right, first topic. We talked about this topic a little bit earlier, and now I want to really rile some people up with it. So let's rile some people up. The Bloodline storyline is a top 5 storyline of all time, Joe. Sell or no sell?
It's so hard when you're talking about wrestling being an all-time thing. But man, I'll tell you, as I said this before, I don't know of too many other storylines that I see go on for 3 years. So I'm, if I'm saying top 5, I'm not going to go up there with top 1, but at the first of all time. But it is definitely up there for me. I'm going to sell this, Jeff. I do believe with what we've seen, where this has gone.
I love it.
Yeah, I do believe this is a top 5 storyline of all time. And then that includes all the years I've been watching wrestling through the late 70s, the 80s, the 90s. This is right up there for me. Some of the other big ones like NWO, the original when they got there, the Hogan heel turn, things like that. It's right up there, man. Absolutely right up there.
Yeah. I'm struggling with this one because top 10 for sure.
Okay.
Somehow we got switched around there.
Yeah, I don't know how that
will. Top 10 for sure. But I'm just thinking, like, I'm thinking the Freebirds and Junkyard Dog. I'm thinking Ricky Steamboat and Ric Flair. I'm thinking, NWO. I'm thinking, different stuff with the Horsemen.
Right.
Man, it's tough. Top 5. I'm gonna just for the sake of being different.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say no sell.
Okay, there are, yeah.
But it's up there. Like it's up there. It's there we go. I just switched this around again.
Hey.
It's up there though. Like it's top 10 for sure. It might even be number 6 for me, 6 or 7. But I think man, this is one of the best stories that we've ever seen. Whether it's your top 5, top 10, top 20, it's one of the best storylines we've ever seen in professional wrestling. And for this to go on as long as it has in the modern era of wrestling, with social media being like it is, with a society filled with people needing instant gratification, to pull this off for over 3 years is just masterful. So
Yeah,
yeah,
no doubt. No doubt. It's a hard thing to do with you're saying all time anything, because it's really hard to rate that. Wrestling's been around for so long, and there's so many things that are out there that were really really good. So it's hard to say that it's top 5. So yeah, I could see it go either way, but I had to put it up there because I do think and maybe I'm even giving it a little more credit because it's doing it at a time where you don't see a lot of patience.
right.
We're certainly not in the times of the 80s where storylines would go on for years. That didn't happen much. Or doesn't happen much rather today. So maybe that's what it is. Big Boy Datley says sell. Brandon Davies says sell. Let's see. Sold, take my money, says HPC. Bad guys from Twitch. Welcome, by the way. Chris says sell. Sean says sell. Derek says selling. Not even a question. RK Shuttlesworth says top 5. Dylan says sell. Big Boy Datley says pure cinema. DJ B Tazzy says sell. Sell at least in the last 20 to 25 years. Sell. This has been the best storyline WWE has produced since the Attitude Era. I would love to think more. Noah Sell says erase your mind. Sell says Gust. I feel this is up there with some of the stuff like Vince Corporation versus Austin. I was thinking that there's a story in Ring of Honor I liked even more, so I don't know. Raven and Tommy Dreamer in ECW had a great long time storyline. All right, so there you go. I would put this at number 5. The Austin and Vince McMahon story is just above it, says James Grant. Yeah, there have been a lot of good ones, and it's hard to talk about one or another over the years. But again, they've just been doing tremendous work. So either way you vote, you can't really say second to Swingers Palace.
I had to put that up there.
That's hilarious. Listen, Barry, I wouldn't argue. Those comedy things they do are tremendous. I hope they go back to that. I hope they have Wrestle House coming up soon. I hope they go back to that stuff because it's amazing. All right, man. What's topic 2?
All right, topic number 2. Let's see here. Here we go. Slammiversary will catapult Impact to new heights, Joe. Sell or no sell?
I think this year's Slammiversary is going to be special. Yes, I'm going to sell it because of the things that we've got there. I mean, we have that. Listen, I don't know how they're going to do this. I don't know if Aldis and Shelley will be the main event, but I'll tell you, if it were me booking it, and this is no offense to those gentlemen, they are amazing, but I would book this as Deonna and Trinity as the main event of this show. What a match that is going to be in Trinity's career. Deonna Purrazzo, one of the best, if not the best, to do it right now. And then the other matches we're getting, of course, this match here with Nick Aldis and Alex Shelley for that title, maybe that becomes more, like Jeff was talking about earlier. Maybe it's not just the two of them. Maybe we get something a little more. We're getting the Boss joining up with PCO against Macklin and Bully Ray, and there's going to be more and more added. And surprises, we may get some surprise signings, some surprise returns. We've been talking about that on our show week after week about many people that may come back. But yeah, I think that if this is, and I hope, listen, they're going to Australia. They're going to be a wrestling promotion over in Australia, which is pretty amazing. So if they market this good, get the correct word, get the word out there, this could be one of Impact's biggest shows. So yes, I am absolutely selling it, especially from what they did with this year. There's no reason for me to believe that show is going to be anything less than spectacular.
Yeah, Joe, I'm going to agree with you. I'm going to sell it.
I love it.
I'm going to say that one of the big problems with Impact Wrestling, and this is no pun intended, even though it's going to sound like it, is the access problem.
Yeah,
Access in terms of new fans being able to gain access to the programming.
Agreed.
Not enough people know that they're on YouTube weekly. Not enough people know about all the names that are there. A lot of people still have this idea of what they think Impact is. You still get people referring to it as TNA. You know, there needs to be more of an effort, I think, to really show the casual fan base that, hey, things are different, things have changed. And I know they're trying to do the best that they can with that, but I do think, like you, Joe, that this year is going to be special.
Yep.
I think we have an opportunity to see some really dynamic matches. The Knockouts World Title match, in and of itself, Deonna Purrazzo, who, can you imagine, like right now, if she had gotten the same type of, I'll say, respect as she's gotten in Impact? Can you imagine having her on your roster in WWE?
Oh man. Yeah.
I mean, think about it. Think about how little she was used in WWE, and then think about since she's been in Impact.
Yep.
What she's done, what she's accomplished.
Yep.
She's always had that ability. You just have to have the opportunity. So I'm glad that she's gotten the opportunity, and Trinity's getting an opportunity too. And we'll see what they want to do with Trinity going forward. But that would be my main event.
I think so too.
That would be my main event.
Agreed. I think it should be. I really do. I think it should be. That is a huge match in the world of professional wrestling. No doubt. No doubt. So yeah, I would do that too. No offense to the men, because the men's match is going to be amazing too. However they choose to go through with that. No offense to them at all. But listen, like we said before, the women's division in Impact, the Knockouts division, is tremendous, and they deserve the main event. I just think that two of Trinity, one of the biggest names in the business, going up against Deonna Purrazzo, like Jeff said, who, if you haven't been watching her, is just at the top of her game, and could hang in there and probably beat just about any other women's wrestler that's out there right now today that is a champion. The dream matches that we could get, her and Rhea Ripley, just put her out there with anybody, she'd be right there. So yeah, I would agree. But I think Slammiversary is going to be big. Let's see what people are saying. Brandon says sell. Dylan says sell. James Grant says sell. Christopher says sell. It should. So I should say sell, said RK Shuttlesworth. No sell for now, at least, as Brandon said. Okay. Agree. No sell. I'd like Impact to be catapulted to new heights, but it won't. Sell. There will be some big surprises in Slammiversary, I believe. I think if Impact goes to a different network that everyone can watch more. Yeah, I agree with that too. Yeah, I think that's one of the things that they really need to look into, is changing that up, and maybe looking for another place to go. No offense, Access, but Access is hard to get. It's not on all the places. I know I don't have it on YouTube TV, which YouTube TV is pretty popular now. A lot of people have that. It's cheaper than cable. It's not easy to get. They don't show the wrestling programming even on their app. I would agree. Find another home for it, and I think you would increase. And maybe they will. They're venturing out. They're doing new things. They're going to new places. Maybe that's just the first bit of it, and maybe they will. So, all right, man, what's the last topic in sell or no sell?
All right, last topic. Going to go back to AEW. AEW Collision will be a huge success for AEW.
Man, oh man. I'm going to, I don't think I've ever done this before on our sell or no sell. I'm going to take a flyer on this. I'm not going to give a sell or no sell to this one. I'm going to do a TBA or a wait and see. I haven't seen enough of it yet to decide one way or the other. Of course, just one episode in. Like I said before, I do think it will get more eyes than the Friday show. And that's simply because of math and numbers. I think that because there's really nothing on Saturday nights now, let me tell you, where they're going to run into a little bit of an issue sometimes is when there is MMA. When there is, when there is fighting and stuff going on a Saturday night, because that's very popular. And that kind of had its spot on Saturdays for a long time. A lot of people watch that. So that's where it may run into a little bit of a problem. Now, they aren't, they're not going up against necessarily like the championship matches for MMA, because those come on later. They're always like 11, 12 o'clock at night, our time. But still, if they're up against a big MMA show, that might cause some problems. College football season, says Derek. Yeah, you could run into some issues there. Football is super popular. So I'm going to take a flyer on this one. I don't want to commit one way or the other until I see a little bit more and go from there. I think it's in a good it's in a good night. I think Saturday night's a good night for wrestling. I do. That we've had Saturday night's main event before with WWE, and it was always fun watching that when I was growing up. So I think it's on at a good night. I just don't know yet whether or not. And again, like I said, they have to do things. They have to make sure they get the star power on there. They've got a few. They've got to keep people interested, keep them coming out, and have them watching. And instead of the college football or instead of the MMA, to bring them in, they're going to have to do some work. So I'm just going to say a TBA on it. Because I can't make up a decision right now. One show in, let's wait and see. Because when they get up in the fall and they go up against that football lineup, that's when they really have to step up their game.
Yeah. Joe, it's funny because me and you are a lot alike when it comes to I was actually going to say the same thing, but I'm going to go here and say that I think the success of this show all depends on what they do between last night and September.
Yep. Because
you're going to get the college football games, NFL games, like someone brought up. You have some Saturday night NFL games. And then going forward. So once you get past football season, then you have basketball.
Yep.
College
basketball's on Saturday nights.
Yeah. Yeah. So how are you going to perform there? It all depends on the base that you build between now and the fall.
Yep.
And if you can get some folks that don't typically watch wrestling for whatever reason during the week, let's say some people are like, you know what, I can't commit 2 hours of my Wednesday to watch Dynamite because I have to work on Thursday morning.
Yeah.
But I can commit 2 hours on a Saturday night. Possible. I think that you have to continue to ride the wave of momentum. I think Forbidden Door 2 is going to play huge into this, and I think it also depends on who's going to be on the show. One of my criticisms of and Michael King saying WWE pay-per-views on Saturday. Good point. I think one of my criticisms of AEW is that at times they've relied on the huge moment a little too much. And you're not going to get that. You're not going to get a CM Punk return every week.
Correct.
So what do you build the show on? I think one of the other things I'd like for them to do as well is let moments breathe a little bit more. Like the thing with Luchasaurus. I mean, he just won the TNT title. I feel like that got rushed a little bit. Yeah, we saw Christian, but I feel like it got rushed a little bit. And maybe that was done intentionally, but I feel like sometimes they just rush bigger moments. But ultimately, I do think it'll be successful because I do think you'll find fans that want the Saturday night wrestling again. You'll get old guys like us who remember Saturday night wrestling, Saturday evening wrestling. it would have been really cool if they could have gone into like a 6:05 time slot, like back in the day with NWA and WCW, that 6:05 time slot. But I think it'll be good. I just want to see what they do between now and September to prepare for the college football season, because college football is huge.
Yeah, it is.
And these Saturday night games, they don't just put like Northwest Directional College against Southeast Directional College on Saturday nights. Those are those are big time matchups on those Saturday night games most of the time. So, yeah, you're gonna have to contend with a lot. So I think how you lay the foundation between now and September is going to be critical for the success of this show.
Not only that, but you got to remember in October they have baseball. TNT does the World Series.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to have the World Series that's going to be on too. So a lot of those, if that goes, playoffs and then through the World Series, if that goes on, of course, they're going to have games on Saturdays. Then now maybe they'll move it. They might move it to TBS on those days. I don't know. But yeah, you're taking a chance. It's a risk. You're going up. You're on a day where there's a lot of other things on. So yeah, it is definitely going to be a risk. But if they're going to take that risk, they've got to iron things out. They've got to make sure that the lineup is consistent, make sure they get good storylines on there that are going to attract people to watch. Like Jeff said, not always going to be a return or something big that's going to bring people on. So yeah, that remains to be seen. Whenever you start something new, it's exciting. It's new. Listen, we enjoy wrestling, so we hope it succeeds. We hope it does well. Certainly I'll be there to watch it. So again, shameless plug. We're doing watch-alongs for it every week. So come out and check it out, and we'll see. But yeah, it's exciting for AEW fans, and let's hope it does well.
Yep.
Sell only if they can keep up the momentum of having great matches and larger names on the show, and they treat it like an A show. Says Erase Your Mind. Did you guys see that? Saturday night's all right for fighting. Loved it. Yeah, said that earlier. Derek loved it. Yep, great song to choose. Don't forget WCW Saturday nights. Yep. Hamburger says Hamburger Raid. Hello, Hamburger. Michael King or WWE pay-per-views. Yeah. Neither going to sell this or no sell. I'm in the middle because I want to see what it does. With 3 AEW shows in ROH, they might be stretching things a bit thin. I think Dynamite and Collision might be only 2 with a successful future. I said that earlier too, Barry. I do think that maybe Collision will survive over Rampage. I never liked the time Rampage was on, even though it's an hour show. Rampage to me has never been good. Now, remember, Rampage is taped. So it's not live. They tape it at the end of their shows that they do. So it's kind of just an add-on kind of a thing. But I would agree. I think if Collision does well, they will probably take Rampage and kind of just forget about it. Because
why not move Ring of Honor and try to negotiate a little something different with the Ring of Honor and put that on
Fridays.
On Fridays.
Yeah, agreed. Yep, that would probably work out better. They have to set the tone now before the college season starts. Hook your audience now. I agree, Jeff. Have a wonderful night, everyone. Good night, Brandon. It's going to be hard, especially when NHL, NBA come back. You're going to be having tough times dealing with NBA, NHL, NFL, MLB, Saturday, WWE, PLEs, and UFC fights. Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot on Saturdays. There was a lot, no doubt about it. I rated a long time. Yeah, I saw it. I'm sorry, Hamburger. I missed it up above the chat. Thank you. That's awesome. Thanks for coming in. All right, man. I think we're done with no sell or no sell. What are we moving on to?
Yeah, let's go to what to watch for.
Okay, let's do it.
Got a pretty important show coming up, I would say, next Sunday for AEW, since we're continuing the theme of AEW.
Yeah, man. Forbidden Door in Ontario, Canada, for AEW. This is a fun one. You are going to have some big names at this event They're crossing over with New Japan. Of course, Will Ospreay was on Dynamite this past week. You're going to get some of those, and it's Forbidden Door for a reason. You're going to get some of those matchups that you normally would not see in regular wrestling shows. And of course, now that some of these guys from New Japan are now on their roster. Jay White, of course, Juice Robinson, of course, many others that are now on the AEW roster. You might see some familiar matchups coming out of this too. But yeah, this was a really, really good show last year. I have no doubt it'll be a good show for them this year. Also, you may get some craziness happen during this too. Don't be, Tony Khan likes to surprise and shock during pay-per-views. So maybe you get, I don't know, maybe you get a new signing coming in for them. Maybe you get someone from New Japan that's going to announce he's signed with AEW, something along those lines. Would not be at all surprised, but I think this will be a fun show. I know it was last time. It will probably be long. AEW's pay-per-views are not short by any stretch of the imagination. It starts at 7. More than likely, it will go to probably midnight Eastern time. They usually run about that long, so just be prepared. The one cool thing these guys do, and it's a good thing they do it, because Bleacher Report is expensive, and that's one of the reasons why we don't usually do their pay-per-views, because it's not cheap. Even for content creators, it's like $70 but one thing they do is they do have them in Cinemarks. You can literally go to a theater and pay, sit down, almost like you're going to a movie, and you can watch the entire show in a theater. And I know people that do that. So that's also an option out there too. But Jeff, I think this will be good. The matchups are always good on these things. It's why I look forward to the one that Impact does also, that we'll be doing a watch along for this time, the multiverse thing. They're always fun. They're not necessarily canon or part of any current storylines, but they're just like dream matchups. And that's kind of what these Forbidden Door things are.
Yeah, and I will say this, Big Boy Dallas saying most looking forward to Okada and Danielson.
Oh boy,
agreed.
Yeah,
I've been looking forward to that one for a while. Been wanting
cool.
that for a while. We're getting that.
Yeah,
that's what these types of cards are good for, is to give us those dream scenarios where we thought we'd never get it, and we get it. That's why I feel like AEW Impact do a great job with breaking down that wall that we're so used to seeing. And I feel like this is where WWE doesn't do as well with this, because it feels so rigid. Like, okay, we're never going to see AJ Styles against, name someone from AEW that you really see him against.
Yep.
I feel like they just put themselves in a box sometimes. So that's why I love cards like this, because it's something that as a wrestling fan you fantasy book, but you don't think will actually happen.
Yeah.
So this is going to be awesome. I'm really looking forward to that Okada and Danielson match. James Grant bringing up possibly seeing Mercedes Moné. I don't think we'll see her wrestle.
Yeah.
But if they somehow tease something down the road, I wouldn't be surprised with that. I'd love to see her do some work with Britt Baker or Thunder Rosa or
Jamie Hayter,
Tony Storm. I mean, I can go down the list. Jade, I'd love to see her in Jade Cargill.
Right.
Honestly. So there are a lot of different directions I'd like to see this go, but I'm excited for it. Again, like Joe brought up the price of pay-per-views. The one thing I'll say in their defense, and I've said this a few times, they don't do as many pay-per-views as a WWE.
Correct. That is true. Yeah, that is true.
And you're going to get a lot of action. You're going to get a ton of matches. Yep. So just know that you're going to get your money's worth. But yeah, I think this is going to be a good card. I want to see how AEW takes the buzz that this is creating and will create. And I want to see how they take that and use that momentum not just for Collision because it's brand new, but how it re-energizes Dynamite, and the same with Rampage. Can you get some momentum into those shows? Because if you look at some of the reactions from some people on Twitter and you see some of the posts, I see some people not being as high on AEW, especially Dynamite and Rampage, as they had been in previous times. So maybe they can use this to kind of add some spark to that. But I'm enjoying AEW right now. Aside from, I mean, there were a few things last night that I could have done without. But I'm enjoying it. I'm giving it a good try. So yeah.
All right. Well, there you go. All right. Jeff, let's say, because we're running late, I know there's some people, it's getting late overseas and stuff like that. You want to move to favorite moments, and then we'll call it a night?
Yeah, well, let's do it.
Let's do that. Let's go to top 3 moments of the week. Again, you guys all play along. Give us 3, give us 2, give us 1. Don't give them all at the same time. We're going to go in that order as well. So our top 3 favorite moments of this past week of wrestling. So again, you want to play along in the chat. Start at number 3 with us. We'll give you 3, then we'll go to 2, then we'll go to 1, and so on. And then we will call it a night because it is getting a little bit late. We have a lot of stuff to talk about. So we're going to skip Book a Wrestler for this week. We'll have it the next time. All right, Jeff. Let's go. Top 3 moments of the week. What is your number 3?
Man, my number 3 moment of the week, and this is cheating a little bit, but Alex Shelley winning the Impact World title. That was tremendous, and not just because I predicted something that would happen, but because it was a great moment for Alex Shelley. So that was my number 3.
All right. There you go. Man, oh, man. My number 3. Oh, man. I'm probably going to go, again, I do this maybe a little different. And I do it when I find something that really makes me excited and I kind of mark out about it. I'm going to go for, and if you watch the Impact stream, you'll know, I'm going to go for that opening segment, man, that promo, and then the lead into a 5-on-5 matchup, 3 men, 2 women on either side. I've never seen that done before. It was a first time for me. I have never seen that before on a wrestling show. I think that was fantastic, and it just led to the promo went so quick. They were on for a good half hour, and then the match at the end of the show, I absolutely loved it. Just another thing to add to Impact's repertoire that I really, really enjoyed. So that was my number 3 moment, and you can ask anybody that watched. I did mark out when they were saying, I'm like, are they going to add the women? Are they going to add the women? Oh my God. That's my number 3 moment of the week. I absolutely love that. Let me see what we got in the chat. Andrade versus Buddy, not Matthews. Derek says Bianca's promo on Flair. Yeah, that's a great one. Yeah, that was a good one from Bianca Belair. I love that. And you know what? I love Grayson Waller. I love him already because I love what he's doing. He's just kind of doing the whole Miz type thing. I love it. And playing like a fanboy. And deep down inside that he's not that guy. But I love it. I think he's doing awesome. Big Boy Dolly says Andrade versus Matthews. Really enjoyed it. Thought it was the best match of the week. Chris says, wow, Chris, I want to know what your number 1s are. Adam Cole versus MJF is his number 3. Chris Sabin winning the X Division title, says Dylan. My number 3 is Collision's debut, says Brandon. All right, man. Jeff, let's move on. What's your number 2?
Number 2 for me is MJF and Adam Cole. You want to talk about a match that is on a weekly program that I feel could be a match of the year contender.
Yep.
At the end of the year, that's one. That's one to put up. It was a great match. I mean, you think about the matches that we've gotten this year, and that one has to go up in that list, I think.
Yeah, no doubt. Absolutely, no doubt. I think mine and your number 2 and number 1 are probably going to be the same.
Probably.
Yeah, my number 2 is the same thing, and I see a lot of people in the chat are saying it too. Adam Cole, but I'm going to do a 2-1 and a 2A and 2B. They're both on the same program. My number 2, yes, Adam Cole versus MJF, phenomenal match. I can't say enough about it. Had me at the edge of my seat the entire time. Loved how they ended it. Loved how they did it and transferred the heat to MJF. Loved the chemistry those two men had together, and I want to see more. My 2B is from the same thing, and the Jericho and Sting meet up in the center of the ring, tapping their baseball bats together and stuff like that. Whatever that's going to bring, I'm in for. 2 of the all-time greats in the world of professional wrestling finally meeting, possibly for the first time somewhere down the road. I don't know when it'll be or how it's going to happen. Maybe a tag team match. I don't know, but it's going to be awesome for people who have watched those 2 guys growing up. I think it's going to be fantastic. So they both come from Dynamite, and yeah, it was awesome. Loved it. All right, let's see what people are saying in the chat. We got number 2s. I'm looking for number 2s. 1, 2, and 3. WWE bringing back Payback. If only it means a possibility of Full Circle and The Fiend returns. A possibility of SummerSlam. It has a match of Payback Full Circle theory. Adam Cole versus MJF, says Derek. MJF versus Cole Bay, says Brandon. Luchasaurus winning the TNT title. Okay, yeah. Number 2, Adam Cole versus MJF. Nathan Frazier winning NXT Heritage Cup. Amazing match. Enjoyed every minute, says Big Boy Dally. Okay. Jey Uso and Jimmy leaving the Bloodline was your number 2. Yes, Luchasaurus did win the TNT Championship, Dazzy. Yes, he did. Beat Wardlow. KO and Sammy versus Gunther and Ludwig Kaiser. Yeah, that was a really good match. Yeah, no doubt. Gunther and listen, Gunther is amazing. And then, sorry, I'm off to bed. No, it's all good, Alicia. It's all good. We're going to be off to bed soon too. Jeff has work in the morning. So yes. All right. Yes. Let's go to our number 1s. Get out your number 1s, folks. I have a funny feeling that I think what's going to be our number 1s too. So go ahead, Jeff.
Yeah, I mean, let's just be honest. The Bloodline is that's just pure gold, pure cinema. It harkens back to a time of professional wrestling that Joe and I grew up on, and it's just tremendous to see how this thing is playing out. And here's the thing. For everyone saying that the Bloodline is over, I'm going to pull a Lee Corso and say, not so fast, my friend.
Right.
Don't think that it's going to be over just because Jimmy and Jay are out. Yep. It's not over yet. So,
yep, absolutely. Tazzy says, but I think he's still talking about the Luchasaurus. Dang. Number 1, Bloodline. The 5-on-5 main event on Impact, says John Kessler. I love it. Jey Uso is also out at number 1. Love the MJF and Adam Cole match. Number 1, Bloodline. I can't disagree. Number 1 was the Bloodline for me too. It just keeps going. You never know what you're going to get with it. You can't predict it at this point. I couldn't predict it. A lot of people are saying, well, we saw it coming, Jimmy. Listen, you may have thought it was coming, but I don't think anybody thought it was coming quite that way. I thought it was amazingly well done. From the speech to the look on Heyman's face to the backstage stuff that they did to oh my gosh, dude, the whole thing.
Joe, I just came up with something in my brain that's a little bit dangerous. And I'm not saying that it's happening.
Okay.
But could you imagine if Roman somehow, some way got G.O.D., the Gorillas of Destiny, to join him? Tama Tonga.
Man. to make like a new bloodline? Good
like a new bloodline. I mean, could you imagine that? Just throwing that out there. Not saying...
oh my gosh. Michael Cole doing callback saying it too, Jay. That made me pop. Same thing, Caesar supposedly. Yeah, it's a very famous revenge quote. Yep. Or a traitor basically quote. Yeah. Gus says, I'm thinking of the Joe Hendry theme. Well, there you go. Alex Shelley winning the Impact title is Chris's number one. Didn't expect him to be. No, that's a huge moment for me too. It's right up there with my top 3, top 4. I didn't expect it either. Total shock when I saw that happen. And if you saw us on the pay-per-view, you'll know that I did not expect him to win that title. And what a moment for him. What a moment for him. Roman and Solo versus the Usos at Money in the Bank is going to be a crazy match. Shenanigans galore. The Civil War is coming soon, says Tazzy. John says Alex Shelley winning the championship. All right. There you go. That's our top 3 moments of the week. Again, we usually do book a wrestler, but we're going to skip it for tonight because, again, we ran a little long. It is getting late out there. Jeff does have work in the morning, so I don't want to keep him. But, yeah, man, hope you enjoyed this. Thanks for coming out as always. We really enjoy doing this show because it really is where we started. It is our bread and butter. We love doing this and we love talking with you guys. So thank you all for being here. We really, really appreciate you all. Make sure that you subscribe to the channel if you are new. If you also please make sure you like the stream for us as well. And make sure you hit the notification bell to be notified about when we have future content. Now, this coming week, no Abby's tomorrow. It will be on Wednesday. So Wednesday at 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Please join Jeff, Jody, and Nicole's been on there for Abby's Window. And then, of course, we will be back, Jeff and I will, for Thursday for Impact Wrestling, 7:45 p.m. Eastern Time. Remember Jeff's challenge. Pay the $1. Come out and watch 4 shows. Pay the 99 cents. Come out and watch 4 shows. You won't be sorry you did. And then on Saturday, come out and join me for Collision. We will watch along AEW Collision on Saturday at 7:45, our normal start time. So 7:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Jeff would pop in if he's available. Otherwise, if not, the invite's out there. I know Conrad does some AEW stuff. Listen, anybody we're friends with are welcome to join in. Tazzy, you too. If you've got a Saturday off, you want to come out some night and join me for the Collision stream, you're absolutely more than welcome, dude. So, all right. That is going to do it for us, guys. Listen, we hope you have a great rest of your night. Enjoy your weekend wrestling, please. No matter which kind of it you watch, just enjoy it. Like Jeff was saying earlier in his grievance, don't be the one out there hating on stuff. It's really a waste of your time. Just go out, watch what you like, enjoy what you like, and then look. Then you could do happy posts on Twitter. You could do a happy post. God forbid that is a thing. So you could do that too. So, all right, guys. Hopefully we'll see you all soon. Again, for those of you that are dads out there, have a great Father's Day. Hope you had a great one. And of course, think of all the fathers who have passed on, and obviously our thoughts and prayers are out to you guys for them as well. All right, folks, we'll see you all on Wednesday for Abby's Window. Have a great night. Stay safe. Please be kind to one another, and hopefully we will see you all for our next show. Have a good night, guys. We'll talk to you soon.